You're listening to Morning Light here on Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. It's the first Friday of the month. That means I'm joined by Chris Hall of McNally Robinson Booksellers with What to Read. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
A pleasure to have you here in the Classic 107 studio on this, gray sort of day. The kind of day where you want to just cozy up with a good book.
Absolutely. This is our kind of day.
It most certainly is. And you've brought not one book, but a whole pile. Where would you like to start?
Well, I thought I would start with a cookbook. This one is called Secrets of My Vietnamese Kitchen. It's by Kim Thuy. Now, Kim Thuy is a familiar name to readers of Canadian literature. She's the novelist who won the Governor General's Award for her debut novel, Rue. She's followed that up with a couple of other novels, Man and Vi. The subtitle of this book is called Simple Recipes from My Many Mothers. It's really a journey or a celebration, I guess, of her family, her aunts and her mother in particular, and what food means to them. And it's a book full of life. From the cover, which is a picture of Kim herself, a big smile. I had the pleasure of meeting Kim when she came to the store. She's done a launch with us, and she's full of life and constantly smiling. And this book is just it's full of charm. It's full of life. Full of life
and full of tradition too, right? Like passing on the family recipes. It's such a hallowed part of so many families' traditions, and to put them out into the world. Asian fusion. It's also like just Asian cuisine in general is really kind of taking the world by storm.
That's true.
And I'm always on the hunt for a good recipe. So have you tried any yourself from the book?
I haven't tried these recipes, but I'm tempted by them for sure.
Yeah.
She splits the sections in by aunt. So she's got 5 aunts and her mother and then herself. And and she tells a little bit about each one. And
of course,
cool. They all have smiles on their faces, and they're all. And then my favorite page is on the back. She's got a picture of her uncles. Another photo full of smiles and a promise that she'll speak about them someday.
I can only imagine what's to come then. The one thing I also want to say about cookbooks is that I'm always a sucker because being a photographer as well, they always draw me in. I know you're supposed to, not just look at the pictures, but cookbooks are really great for that too. And I imagine this one is no exception.
It is no exception. There's a saying I ran across at some point that you eat partly with your eyes.
You do.
And so, it's important to, it's part of the inspiration for why you would spend an hour or whatever to make a meal is that look. Yeah, for sure.
So if people are looking for something different, what have you brought in next?
Well, it's not different. It's kind of continuing on a theme.
Let's keep the food theme going then.
Absolutely. Save Me the Plums is what this one's called. My Gourmet Memoir. It's by Ruth Reichel. She is a longtime editor of Gourmet magazine. She's also the author of several books of food writing, very popular books, Tender at the Bone, Comfort Me with Apples, Garlic and Sapphires. And so, in other words, she's very good at writing about food. This one is more of her memoir. She discovered Gourmet magazine as an 8-year-old child in a used bookstore, she describes it. And so came to it very honestly, and eventually, developed as a writer, and then was eventually offered the job as editor-in-chief. And so she was very successful for a long time. And then Gourmet magazine no longer exists. It kind of fell in the pressure of the internet. But she was there during the time of the rise of food culture, as you were just describing it. The quality and the variety of the food we eat and the restaurants that we get to visit these days. And maybe she's even responsible for the term foodie. I'm not sure of that. I'd have to do more research. But But she certainly is part of that movement. And
that whole farm to table thing as well.
Absolutely.
Where is this food coming from? So I can only imagine what her stories will be like in terms of perhaps the chefs she interacted with or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so just how important food is to her. It's not just about, it's not a function, that it's not fuel. It's much, much more than that, or it certainly can be. And
it's life.
She celebrates it. Sure, absolutely.
All right. So that was music. Yeah, that's habit right there. Save Me the Plums. That is just a great title, let me say.
I love that,
where are we off to next?
Well, I thought I'd change gears a little bit now. This is a novel, a mystery. It's called Heatwave by Maureen Jennings. Maureen Jennings might be a familiar name to people.
Murdoch Mysteries?
She was, yes. She's become famous because she was the author of the Murdoch Mysteries. And so, yes, she's on the rise in terms of her recognition. But she's made an interesting choice in her career. She could have probably published with any publisher, I think, but she's decided to go with a small Canadian publisher, which I respect. There's a lot of very good small Canadian publishers that we like to support. And so her moving to Cormorant Books is the publisher in this case, helps to support that and give a little back maybe. But anyway, this is not a Murdoch mystery, but it is the first of a new series. Paradise Cafe series is what this one's going to be called. It's set in 1936 in Toronto in the grip of a deadly heat wave, and the detective is Charlotte Frayne. She's a junior associate in a private investigation firm. And she has to make the connection between a hate letter that's been sent to her boss and there's an accusation of embezzlement in this Paradise Cafe. So this is the mystery that is at the heart of it. But Murdoch fans will recognize the atmosphere and the historical detail, and that she captures all that in this book as well.
Yeah, the amount of research that I imagine goes into her work is just, it really is not just a mystery, but also sort of a historical account at the same time.
I think so. And then you have to wear it lightly as a novelist. Otherwise, it feels like research.
Yeah. This is so
yeah,
true.
That's the trick.
All right. So the last novel you wanted to talk about.
Yes. Now this one, Normal People is
another great title. Save Me the Plums
too.
and Normal People. Loving the titles.
And this author is Sally Rooney. Now Sally Rooney's been getting a lot of publicity these days. She's a very young writer out of Ireland. The Guardian newspaper in England was celebrating her, and everybody's talking about her. I take some pride because I had her previous novel a couple of years ago it was called Conversations with Friends. I had that as a what to read, so I feel like I'm on the
there you go
this stuff.
Yeah, McNally always has the pulse on things. Way to go, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. And she's just had a story published in the New Yorker, so she's kind of an it figure right now. And you may find this hard to believe, but sometimes the hype about an author is a little bit empty. Possibly. And but I think this one, to my mind, is very genuinely deserved. She's a very, very good writer. The novel, at least at the surface level, is about two high school students, Connell and Marianne, in Dublin, or outside of Dublin, when they go to high school. They go to university in Dublin. It's their relationship. They're lovers briefly. They're friends. They drift apart, but they have this connection, and they always come back to each other in various ways, for good and for bad. But what makes the novel great instead of good is the depth of psychological detail that Rooney gets to. The little missed connections, the little moments of misunderstanding and missed opportunities to say the right thing, and she just gets it right down to these little tiny moments that cause the two people to go off in a direction they could otherwise, you feel like, oh, if you just said that.
Yeah. But almost like the nuances, right? Or like when you walk, I mean, this has definitely happened to me. I've walked away from a conversation going like, why did I say that? I mean, it happens all the time here at the station, like what about this, that, or the other thing?
Yeah.
So that you just get so almost fixated on those ideas.
Yeah.
So to have it there in writing, so Sally Rooney.
Sally Rooney,
she was longlisted for Man Booker, right?
Yes, she was. Yeah. She's a name to watch for. I would recommend these books highly. The booksellers at the store are passing this one around.
So the Irish author. Now we're going to head closer to home. What have you brought into feature for this month? Winnipeg related.
Winnipeg related. Well, 2019 is the 100th anniversary of the Winnipeg General Strike of 1919. And so May 15th in particular is the anniversary of the day the workers actually walked off the job. And so there are several books coming out to mark the occasion, I guess. I've brought a couple. The first one is, I would say it's a straightforward history, for lack of a better description. It's called The Magnificent Fight by Dennis Lewicki. It's a history of the lead-up, the event itself, and also the legacy of this event. It was described at the time as a revolution, so it changed a lot of things. The second book I brought in is a novel. It's a novel for young readers, City on Strike by Harriet Zaidman. And that's a chance for high school students and that age group to learn about this too. I wonder sometimes, Winnipeg 1919, the strike, we all know about it, and we've all heard about it all of our lives, but I do wonder how much we know about it.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, like, I know it was the longest strike in Canadian history, but I mean, this seems to be the year where we're shedding more light on what was going on between monuments being erected and movie musicals and novels and books and historical accounts.
Yeah,
it's a big year.
I'm fascinated by the opportunity that books give you to find out more about what happened then, what caused it. what did people go through? What did they experience? And so if you want to know more about that, we also have a class that in the community classroom about this. It's a class called Remembering 1919, the Winnipeg General Strike. It's with Dr. Janice Thiessen. Wednesday, May 22nd, 2 to 4. It's $25. Register via our website or give us a call at the store. So, yeah, I love doing this. It's local history, but it doesn't have to be local. But I just like the opportunity to find out what happened here 100 years ago. But this made international waves, and it was big stuff. We should probably know more about it. And Harriet Zaidman, I should mention, has an event on Sunday, April 14th, 2 o'clock. So if you want to come out and meet her and find out more about her book.
Lots to look forward to at
Yeah,
McNally.
lots
Chris,
happening.
thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, Simon.
Chris Hall of McNally Robinson Booksellers with what to read in this month of April. Again, if you're ever looking for more information, you can head on down to McNally, spend some time there, peruse the shelves. It's always a wonderful experience.